Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Sam V, United People CV. I've got a smile on my face. You might have seen the results of the weekend. Feeling pretty chirpy this morning. Will I feel as chirpy tomorrow morning? We'll find out. But tonight, United are playing 8 p.m. against Everton. Monday night kickoff. I'm going to run through all of the embargoed Amorim press conference. Quite a lot he ran through, actually. Spoke about Manu and Xerxes, about their opportunities. Spoke about Lacey and Fletcher in terms of the academy opportunities. Spoke about his team. Spoke about United. But if this set of fixtures was an opportunity for United, that opportunity has just gone up quite a few levels because of the results this weekend. What did everybody get up to? Did you have a good weekend? Tell me your good stories. I don't know. Maybe you didn't do anything. Maybe you chilled. Everyone loves a chill weekend sometimes as well. Let me see who's here from the mods and the members, and let's get on with today's show. Josh, good morning to you. Maddie, good morning to you as well. We've got Carl. We've got Tony Acast. We've got Gricker, 99. We've got Shax. We've got Innes. We've got Buskovich. That's a new name. We've got Theo T-Bone. I'll be honest, I nailed a tomahawk steak at the weekend. Nailed it. As if you'd expect anything less, to be completely honest. And some non-members, we've got Johnny, we've got Gideon, we've got Mortars and Jamie Macaria. Shall we get on with today's show? I hope I can do this every weekend. Get on. Mate, Liverpool are crap, aren't they? Mate, it's gone way beyond it. Like that, they just got whooped by Forest. Man, we should have beaten Forest away. Man, we should have beaten Spurs away. Jeez. Spurs actually made Liverpool look bloody good. For real. Oh, what an atrocious. Anyway, we'll speak about Liverpool first. At what point are you getting sacked? At what point is he getting sacked? Come on. Then I'm on the treadmill. I was doing treadmill this morning. 30 minutes, 10% incline. I prefer that to running. Mainly because I can't run. That's probably it, to be honest. What's going on down here in the chat? Richard, you played mini golf for the family at the weekend? I don't think that Slot had a good weekend. But then on top of that, right? I promise you I'm not saying this with hindsight. I was jealous of Arsenal being able to sign Eze. No, he's an extremely good footballer. He just strikes me as a genuinely nice guy. Probably humble is probably the way I would use to describe it. The sort of player I would love in my team. First hat-trick in the North London derby for sod knows how, was it 1978? Something like that. Mate, Spurs are crap. You remember, this is the way that football works, man. Do you remember the first 4 games of the season? 4 or 5 games of the season? Spurs were flying. United were stumbling, and that's me being polite. Oh, United made a horrendous mistake not getting Thomas Frank in. Oh, my God, we stopped Ruben. Oh, my God, this is looking at, oh, my God, over there. And everyone's like, oh, I'm not sure, mate, Thomas Frank. Oh, might have to get sacked by Spurs. It's just a swing. I think this is the point I'm trying to make is definitely not just with bloody United where this sort of thing exists. Like this, because of the pressure and the scrutiny that exists in the Premier League, the money that is in and around the Premier League, yeah, it's everywhere. But it's fair to say that Thomas Frank is not flavour of the month anymore. Yeah? And what that does is bloody hell, that gives United an opportunity. Shax, I can see you gifting 5 memberships. Good morning down to you down there. But look, on top of that, geez, I had so much fun there. I didn't even speak about the fact that City lost 2-1 away at Newcastle. If we look at the results this weekend, Chelsea, beating Burnley. Bournemouth drawing with West Ham. Fair enough. Nuno's getting some decent results there. Brighton beating Brentford. You see Welbeck's goal. A lovely take on the first time left foot volley. Fulham beating Sunderland 1-0. That song's getting a lot of run out this season. Palace beating Wolves 2-0. As I said, even City lost. Villa, who cares? But if these next 5 games were an opportunity, and they are an opportunity because on paper we've got the easiest set of 5, having started the season with the toughest set of 5. Then on a weekend where Spurs lose, City lose, and Liverpool lose, like, lads, you've got to take advantage of this. You have to take advantage of this. It's not even a case. It's just like a needs must sort of thing. At home against Everton. Yeah, I know Everton have got a decent couple of results in the last couple of games, but I don't care. Like, we've got to win tonight. If we win by 3 or more goals, we go 4th. I'm not really looking at goal difference. I'm just looking at results right now. On a weekend where City, Liverpool and Spurs lose, you've got to. And so if we look at what happened above us in the table, Arsenal won, Chelsea won, City lost, Villa won, Palace won, Brighton won, Sunderland lost, Bournemouth drew, and Tottenham lost. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teams that we can gain points on above us. Liverpool below us, so they don't matter anymore. Come on, lads. Take advantage of it. Mr. Smith is saying, hence why Villa are where they are now, taking advantage. Yeah. This is not what United... If we're talking about like Achilles heels, actually, I don't want to talk about Achilles heels with United. We've got multiple. But one particular thing that we've really done on repeat, and I remember this. I don't know what particular weekends we've done it on, but there have been so many like opportunities where United can gain ground on somebody because somebody else stumbles, but then we stumble at the same time. Jason, kind of a fair comment there, saying, look, how are Villa 4th, by the way? They were terrible. They had a really awful start to the season, but I think in the same way that Liverpool have lost 6 out of the last 7, Villa, I think, have won 5 out of the last 6. There's no way I go as far as saying tonight is season-defining. It's not even close to season-defining. But not trend-setting. Hey, look, we're 5 unbeaten. We're already moving in the right direction. But just don't trip yourselves up. That's what tonight is. Everton at home. There is no given. There is no gimme in the Premier League anymore. The Premier League is too competitive. But if we were playing away from home, I'd be looking at this game a bit differently. We're not playing at home. Right, let's run through. There are honestly so many things to run through in this show because of the embargoed second press conference. I want to say congratulations to Paul Pogba, by the way. I think it was more than 800 days between his last game of the drugs ban and then the appeal and then training. Came on, was it 4-0 to Rennes against Monaco, and they were down to 10 men. So it wasn't exactly the best of situations. But Pop actually liked the post we put up on Instagram, which I think is pretty cool. And Rio, hey, it's the amount of time and effort that not me actually, the social lads put into the work that they do. I just want to say congratulations to them. Yeah, that's all. And congratulations to Paul Pogba. 800 days out. That must have been a lot. Samir, you're saying Liverpool below us? They don't matter now. How long have we waited for that sentence? Yeah, I'm sure there have been different. The thing that's made it so much worse for United being crap has been the fact that Liverpool have been flying. Right? Yeah, I think it's pretty cool seeing former players like sort of engaging with the content that we're trying to create. We don't try to create content which is inflammatory at its core. Never have, never will. That will never change. And you're saying the league's still fluid. Time to take advantage. That's exactly what the league is, man. Like, realistically, there's still only, 5 points between 2nd and 10th. That's 2 results. You're 2 results away from 2nd in the table to potentially on the verge of bottom half. And that's because we're still only, I suppose, 11, 12 games into the season. As the season progresses, these gaps should start appearing But instead of being on the wrong side of that, United, be on the right side of that. Stop chasing, start leading. That's a very different mentality for a football club that hasn't done that for a long time. That's something completely different, which I think is certainly worth mentioning. That's a certain Ruben Van Nistelrooy up in Aberdeen for the unveiling of the Dennis Law mural. Did he live in that block of flats? Or was it just that block of flats that was chosen? I don't quite know. But he went there. He sat down with the boss. Love that photo, man. I remember that Rude left United under a little bit of a cloud. What was it? Was it the League Cup final? Was it in Cardiff? Was it against Arsenal? I can't remember. I swear it was a League Cup final where Saha started instead of Van Nistelrooy. And then there was like a clash of heads after that. And then he ended up going to Real Madrid. Alex, you're saying that he did live in that block of flats. That's pretty cool, man. But anyway, doesn't matter what happened at United. At the end of it, they come back together. Although I haven't seen... When was the last time a photo of Fergie and Keane was seen? Don't know about that. Yeah, and it was down to a lack of playing time. And it was, and I think it was that was a straw that broke the camel's back. Him not starting in that final. But anyway, it's good to see him together again. I'm sure it was Saha more than Ronaldo. I think it was to do with game, to playing time anyway. Let's move on. Everton tonight. Right. There's lots to run through. My lunchtime video, I'll tell you what it's going to be on today. It is certainly going to be on the academy, and it's certainly going to be on 2 players from the academy. But tonight against Everton, we already did the poll at the weekend. We don't need to repeat that poll. Lots of you are confident of that win tonight. And I bloody hope you're right. Now let's run through some comments from Ruben Amorim's embargoed press conference. You know the press conference happens on Friday, but there's always a second part, which is released, I think, the night before the match. That's what happened last night at, was it 10 p.m. There's a few good things that I want to speak about. Number one, not really about the embargo part, but Kobbie Mainoo, according to Sully, who clearly has his sources inside, I think that it feels like the leaks have kind of stopped a lot, but he's clearly got some form of source. Sounds like Kobbie's going to be in the matchday squad, and there's been a lot of talk about this. So, Cunha was supposed to turn on the Christmas lights in Altrincham, and then he didn't. And then they put this up on Instagram saying, look, he's not here due to medical reasons. Everybody, like from BBC to Nathan Salt and the Daily Mail, have all said he got a knock in training, knock on the head, but it shouldn't stop him being involved in the game tonight. All right? So I don't think that we're going to come to a nasty surprise that Cunha's not going to be in the matchday squad. I saw some training photos of Cunha, I think from Sunday. So I think he should be all right. We'll find out, I suppose. But, see what I was saying? He really didn't want to turn on those Christmas lights. Oh yeah, I've got a little bit of a tickly cough. Can't come. Anyway, I also thought these were class. TRA have been doing some great things for the atmosphere in the Stretford end this season. I think United have helped with that. The introduction of another 6,000 safe standing seats. The fact that more flags are being allowed in the away end is also fantastic. And that's Cunha's. And there's a few photos. That was Cunha. And Šeško was... As much as I think Cunha will love that banner, I think... Was it the Brighton game where that was there for the first time? It's certainly the first time I noticed it, because basically it was right in front of my face, I'll be honest. But as much as Cunha loves that banner, I think it'll mean a little bit more to Šeško. And he was speaking about how the fact that it's in his native language and how much it means to him to see that in Old Trafford straight away. Yeah, it's good. And Bumo's got his one. Ahmad's got his one. Yeah, like someone's down there saying the banners will be huge for morale. I would put these in the marginal gains territory. The fact that United have given TRA more what do I want? More control? More not leeway. More permission, I suppose, to bring these banners in, to enhance the atmosphere and the strengthening, because it makes a difference at Old Trafford, as does, winning games of football. It all goes hand in hand. Imagine Weghorst's got a banner. Veggie. He was fundamental to the best part of Ten Hag's tenure. I think he started every game. That bit post the World Cup, in the build-up, the 6 weeks in the build-up to the League Cup final against Newcastle, where we beat City, we had Barcelona home and away, Weghorst playing in a number 10 away from home. That was basically the peak of Ten Hag. But Everton tonight. Let's run through Amorim's comments ahead of the game. And I think this one's quite important to start off with, right? Him speaking about the unbeaten run. And he goes, staying unbeaten's not enough. I'm frustrated, very frustrated by these last 2 matches, and especially the last one. For us, it's not sufficient. In this club, being unbeaten isn't everything. We didn't win the last 2 matches, and that's why I think that. I don't feel like we've been unbeaten for 5 matches. In my mind, we didn't win the last 2. That's how I feel. I wonder if you were to compare that to that. Remember that famous Moyes quote after we lost the game, saying, I think we need to improve in passing, shooting, defending, attacking, heading, set pieces, etc., etc. Lost my words there completely, because I was thinking about how frustrated I was after Forest and Spurs. Despite the fact that we had won 3 games in a row, I didn't realise how muted everybody would be after a draw. And the Forest one, it was it's like the bubble got burst straight away. And maybe it was how the game happened. Maybe it was the fact that United were 2-0 up, and it wasn't a defeat to Forest, but it felt like a defeat. It wasn't a defeat to Spurs, but we were 2-0 up for, 75 minutes? And we drew 2-2, and we needed it, so it felt like a defeat. That's probably what I would say about the sheer frustration from those draws against Forest and Spurs. Mate, that bloody Spurs Europa final. Not just for the fact that I was in Bilbao, but you look at that Spurs team, even with Thomas Franklin trying to make them more defensively resolute. They're so limp. It's such an average club. I'll never get over losing that final to them, man. Jeez. Yeah, Alex, they'll definitely applaud Manny tonight. I hope that they should be playing this as the one in full. Anyway, it's the sort of thing you want to hear from a Manchester United manager. Of course you do. This is something that has to be reflected in the players and how they play. It's all well and good a manager saying it. I thought this was an interesting quote as well. Not like a hugely inflammatory way, but Amorim was effectively asked, at what point can you just sort of step back in training and just kind of do that? Just watch everybody training. He goes, yeah, we're nowhere near that. I can't just stand there and have a conversation with Jason Wilcox here. I've got to get involved in every drill. I've got to be present. So he still feels like he has to be, because I suppose there's different versions of coaches, really, at a football club. You can have a coach that needs to be a teacher, and I suppose a coach should always be teaching, right? Always be helping players improve. But sometimes you'll reach you'll reach a point with a lot of the players that you don't really have to coach them too much anymore, because the coaching it kind of happens not subconsciously, but without pointers, without direct instructions for every single thing you've got to do. Almost like the training becomes a bit automatic, which is what a lot of United's football still kind of feels like it isn't. It feels like United have to think a lot about what they're doing still. Remember that? I remember we spoke about that under Ten Hag. Like, it felt like Ten Hag, in his head, he knew exactly what he wanted United's players to do. But because they were just like dragged out of position so much, because they were pressing so much, that the players were thinking about 4 things at once. So that it was difficult for them to execute any sort of game plan. Don't know. A little bit random, that one. But he is going. Hey, look, ASIC, you're saying even Pep still gets involved in training at City. Yeah, that's like, there's different styles of coaching. Fergie, classic Fergie was standing back and sort of letting Mike Phelan or René Muhlenstein and just letting them do the drills whilst he stood back and observed. But Amorim wants United to, mate, just win tonight. There really is no excuse. I feel like we can talk about how Šeško's injured. We can talk about it's a Monday night football instead. Did you see Slot talking about the weather? Genuinely hilarious, that football club. Insufferable losers. Never their fault. It's the weather. It's the tightness of my boxers. I've tied my shoelaces on the wrong step outside. Idiot football club. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking about Senny, Amorim, obviously, interviews, Sky Sports, but he was speaking about the importance of Senny and the fact that he's brought that calmness into the team, and it has made a big, big difference. I don't know whether Slot actually talked about the weather, but I saw it on Twitter, so therefore it must be true, right? These are the rules. But he was speaking about this. This did actually happen. Senny has been a United player for 5 games, and we're undefeated for 5 games. And I really do not think that is a coincidence. I didn't think it after the first, we've won consecutive Premier League games for the first time. Oh, okay. We won 3 in a row. Oh, okay. Now we're 5 undefeated. Oh, okay. Senny's played a big role in all of those, really. Some more obviously than others in terms of how busy he is and actually making saves. But it's a subconscious confidence that the defence now is beginning to get that their goalkeeper is not a whopper. It makes a difference. I hope that Senny's not going to be busy tonight. But with Grealish, with Ndiaye, they're dangerous players. I would be surprised if United are able to stop Everton creating chances tonight. Right? So I think he might be busy. Grick is saying, given how many times it chucks down at Old Trafford, if we use weather as an excuse to be in Division 2, always cracks me up how much it does rain in Manchester. It is mad. What game was it this season where it was like, mate, what is going on here? It felt like the game might get called off at some point. It was absolutely honing it down. I am saying, look, it's time we put expectations on this team and it's time for them to deliver. I think that's quite a good comment to leave, really. Because I think that's kind of the part where we're all a bit scarred. When we reach a stage where we're like, Man United should be winning this, where we go into a game where it's not that we're favourites, it's expected. Was it the Chelsea game? Man, that was madness. That was so much damn right. I genuinely thought, oh my God, it's going to get waterlogged, this pitch. And it started to hold up the ball a little bit, didn't it? Anyway, still won. It is. It's when the mindset switches to expectation. Goes into a game, and this is where you kind of level about complacency and then you worry a little bit because if you're expecting too much. But when I go into a game expecting United to win, a lot of the times United have let me down. I went into that game against Sunderland. I wasn't expecting United to win, if I'm being completely honest. I was hoping United were going to win. I was expecting it to be a tough game. It was a routine win. That was impressive. We didn't go to Anfield with me expecting to win. We haven't won in 10 years. We won. Great result. Brighton at Old Trafford. Was I expecting United to win? No, I wasn't expecting United to win. I was hoping United were going to win. I really was. But I thought it was going to be a tough game. So I wouldn't say there was expectation there. Forest away. No, I wasn't expecting United to win away against Forest in Sean Dyche's first game as Forest manager. I was like, oh God, of course it's first game. Expecting it to be a tough game. Ended up in a draw. Spurs away. Was I expecting United? Of all of them, that would probably be the one where I was saying, I think United have got a real chance here. And we had it for 75 minutes and then we lost it. And obviously, Delic brought it back. This would probably be the first game in the last 6 where I'm saying I'm expecting United to win going into this. Team's fit. We're at home. Advantage us. I expect United to win tonight. And in those times, that's when United have typically let us down, right? Now, as I said, my lunchtime video today is going to be on the Academy, on Amorim, lots of Amorim comments on the Academy. But what in particular he has done is name dropped 2 players, Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey. Now, that shouldn't really be too much of a surprise to any of you for a few reasons. Firstly, I think Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey, who else was it that made their debuts for the club in the post-season tour in Malaysia? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know these 2 did. Jack Fletcher was also included in the Spurs matchday squad. Will we see Shea Lacey in the squad tonight against Everton? If I'm being completely honest, I would probably expect to see him in one of the next 3 squads if, and this is kind of what's being suggested, that Shea Lacey is going to be given the opportunity and stepping up into the first team environment when Ahmad and Mbeumo leave for AFCON. Mantato and Camerson, did they get the debuts as well? Was Morehouse out there? I think he was actually, wasn't he? And Sekou Kone, to be fair, it's quite a few of them, right? So it wasn't just these 2. But they have been in and around the first team environment for a while. Shea Lacey I think he's trained with the first team 3-4 times, same with Jack Fletcher. More so than Chido Obi has. But if Lacey's going to be involved in first team games and maybe getting his first team debut when Ahmad and Mbeumo leave, it would kind of make sense for them to be involved in matchday squads, not necessarily being involved in the game, but being involved in a matchday squad, going to the stadium, sitting in the dugout, soaking up the atmosphere, kind of getting used to the occasion. Get those in before they need to. Now, Jack Fletcher's already been involved away against Spurs, but Shea Lacey hasn't. It's exciting. It always will be exciting for United fans. The Academy is different at our football club. How fans view Academy players, how fans follow Academy players, and like the desire to have more Academy players coming through. It is different at our football club. We talk about the identity of United, and I will always go back to that at its absolute core, for being completely honest. Yeah, I know Lacey's also trained with the England first team. He's got his first under-20s England goal. He's been playing very well for the under-18s this season with Fletcher. I think this conversation that we're having with Lacey now probably would have happened at some point last season if it wasn't for all of his injuries. Now, all we can just do is just touch wood and let's just hope that there aren't going to be any more injuries. But there's quite a few more things I'm going to run through in the lunchtime video, quite a few more comments from Ruben Amorim on the Academy, on certain players. But I would expect to see Jack Fletcher in the squad tonight. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see Lacey in one of the next 3 matchday squads. So Everton might be a bit soon. Not impossible. Kind of depends on injuries, I suppose. Then you've got Crystal Palace on Sunday. And then you've got West Ham on the Thursday. And then Wolves on the Monday. That's our next 3 after tonight. Wouldn't surprise me to see Lacey involved in one of those before they go away to AFCON. But let's focus on the players that we've got at the club. And like Mr. Smith is saying, it'd be nice for Lacey to get through this season unscathed, to be honest. Yeah. He just needs a season where injuries aren't a conversation. Because you can't really develop if you've got an injury. All you can do if you get an injury is just recover to where you were before. So it's kind of resetting yourself. Zenzi saying I'm scared because of the magnitude of this game for the importance of the points. Dude, tonight isn't a game of huge magnitude. I don't think anybody should build it up to be like that, to feel like that. And this is where it becomes difficult, like, because technically it's a huge opportunity, but it's also not the biggest game of the season. It should just be a game where United at Old Trafford just get the job done. Tonight is all about just being professional. It's not about going into it feeling like it's a Liverpool level, because it's not. You can kid yourself, but it's not. We're not playing at Anfield. We're not playing City at Old Trafford. We're not playing away at Arsenal. It's Everton at home. This is a game that United should just professionally win. Get the job done. Nothing spectacular required. Monday night, get your job done, go home. That's what tonight should be like. It probably won't be like that. We'll probably concede in the first 7 minutes. Hope not. Abby's saying, Sam, do you think United can win the next 5 games in a row and get our United strand his haircut? I do not give a toss about that, man. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I have a little bit of sympathy for him, but it only extends so far. I have a little bit of sympathy for him because I know he didn't start this, won't cut my hair for 5 games. He didn't start this from a negative perspective. It was trying to add a little bit of humour into what was a dark time for United. But unfortunately for him now, he is a very, very visual representation of the fact that United haven't won 5 games in a row, that every fan of every other club now points and laughs at. And it's used against us. So he's become and mate, how many teams have bloody won 5 games in a row this season? Let me quickly have a look at the Premier League table and see how many of these teams have won 5 in a row. Arsenal haven't won 5 in a row. Not one team in the entire league. And that's why I'm saying that my sympathy only goes so far. Boy, if you set the standard, it's so damn hard to win 5 in a row. No team in the entire fucking league has done it. Not even Arsenal, who are top of the league. So I mean, like you set it that high, you're probably not going to reach it. Wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't cut his hair this season. Sod knows when he's going to do it next season. I don't care about it like Liverpool at the start. I'm saying right now, no one has won 5 in a row. Look at the form table. Yeah, so done on that one. Who else are we speaking about now? Right. Right. This is quite an important one. Mainu and Xerxes hardly kicked a ball for United in the league this season, and Amorim was asked directly about their futures because we've got January coming up. And this is what he said. He said, I was a football player. He goes, I understand everything and I want to help my players in every situation. I understand the frustrations of some players seeing the World Cup is there. I know what it means. But the first thing is that the club comes first. If I can help the club and the players, I will be happy. If not, I have to think about the team. United comes first. Now, I think Xerxes is just going to... I think Xerxes is just going to end up leaving United. I'm not going to say under a cloud. But he's going to leave United frustrated. This is the way I feel it's going to... The way I feel it's happening with Xerxes. Feel for him. I don't think he's a bad egg whatsoever. We just ended up signing the player that we would have signed a year earlier, but we couldn't afford, so we signed him instead. And then we signed Cunha and Mbeumo, and he's way down the pecking order, and he's not going to get game time, even during AFCON. Like, Xerxes could start tonight. Like, type yes or no. Do you think Xerxes starts tonight? Because it could happen. If you're looking at the options that we've got, it's Cunha, centre forward. You could play Mbeumo centre forward if you wanted to. I genuinely would prefer that rather than Cunha, but Mbeumo's also been playing fantastic on the right-hand side. You could play Xerxes up there. They're your 3 main options. But I just don't particularly think he's going to take Xerxes. I think he's going to go for Cunha up front and Mount left. And if not, I think it'll be Mbeumo further up and then probably Mount on the right. Like, I can see like the overwhelming majority of you down there. Go like 80, 90% are saying Xerxes won't start, and I agree with you. It's just that's just where he is in the team right now, and it's not because he's not working hard enough. It's because we have better options, and that's what a good squad is. Like someone down there saying, "Isn't Cunha injured?" Look, he missed the turning on the Christmas lights at Altrincham, but apparently it was just a head knock. It wasn't anything major, and he was training on Sunday, so we'll see. Alex, you say you prefer Xerxes in the 9 over Cunha. I'd only prefer that because I prefer Cunha deeper. I want him to receive the ball kind of just past the halfway line and drive forward. I feel for Xerxes, but I think he's just going to be leaving. As for Cobby, honestly, I don't think that Amorim has followed through on his comments saying that there would be competition for those positions in terms of how many minutes he's getting and how many minutes Bruno's getting. How many minutes has he had in the Prem? Was it 80? It's written here. 93 minutes. Neither player started a Prem game this season. Xerxes is featured for 82 minutes. Manu's had 90 minutes since coming on at halftime against Burnley. I don't particularly think that the competition has been there for Cobby. So I think Cobby has way... I suppose they've both got frustrations. But Amorim saying, look, I'll do what's right for the football club. That might piss off some players, but I'm still going to do what's right. I'm still going to do what's right for the club. Cobby has to be loaned out in January. Has to be. He's not going to play. So loan him out. I don't want Cobby to switch off completely from being a United player. Now, we can talk about his weaknesses. We can talk about him in the midfield too. We can talk about this. I don't like say what you want. He is an extremely talented midfielder with a great skill set. Maybe it's not exactly what Ruben Amorim is looking for in that midfield too right now, but it doesn't mean that I want to lose the idea and the possibility of Cobby being a central midfielder and a starting player for United in years to come. So loan him out, give him the minutes, get him the opportunity to be in the England squad at the World Cup, which I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to get into. Because Elliot Anderson's stock has risen so much, Wharton's now fit again, and who's the other one? I always forget about Manu, Wharton, Anderson. I swear there's another midfielder in that conversation. This is not Cobby FC. We're United fans. I know we're United fans, and I'm speaking about that from a United fan perspective. United's futures perspective. I do not want to see Cobby nailing it for another club, which he absolutely would. I want to see him doing that in a United shirt. Declan Rice, of course. Right. What else are we speaking about here? I suppose we'll go and we'll stay in the conversation of midfielders, right? Casemiro. So, I did 2 videos on Casemiro over the last 3-4 weeks. One where I've said, look, I don't think that United should be giving Maguire and Casemiro new contracts. And I spoke about the reinvestment. I spoke about it was kind of mainly the investment, really. It was mainly about the wages. And it was mainly about the fact that I thought United just shouldn't be investing that much money in those players when I thought that this summer it could be reinvested elsewhere. Last week, I did a follow-up video. I was saying, look, is there a situation where I think it can make sense for the club? And I think the only way, and we spoke about this, I think the only way that is possible is if he takes a 50% wage cut or more and signs a 1-year rolling deal. This is what Fabrizio is saying Amorim wants to do.
On the future of Casemiro. What's the situation of Casemiro? Guys, my understanding is that the situation of Casemiro is a really similar situation in terms of strategy to Harry Maguire. Casemiro and Harry Maguire are out of contract in summer 2026. And for Manchester United, they are 2 really important players, especially now. Casemiro, we have to say congrats to Casemiro. In this video, let's focus on Casemiro because He's been able to change his situation at Manchester United. If you think about Casemiro 1 year ago or a bit more, there was a feeling like, okay, we have to find a solution. We have to part ways, the salary is too high, the player is not performing, was not an important or crucial player for United. But Casemiro has always been a legend of the game. He's the man who made history at Real Madrid, who made history with the Brazilian national team. So a fantastic midfielder. He's been able to change the situation, to become a starter for Ruben Amorim, a crucial player on and off the pitch, an absolute leader, a wonderful version of Casemiro. This final one is showing with Manchester United. So now the desire is from Man United, obviously, to continue with Casemiro, but on different conditions. So the salary he has right now is a salary that Manchester United don't want to pay in the future, not because of Casemiro or Maguire, because they want to change the salary structure. So at the moment, for Casemiro, eventually, the only way to stay would be a different contract, a different salary.
Boy, you can say a lot without saying much, can't he? I'll give him that. Be a good politician, Fabrizio. It sounds like United want to do the exact same thing with both Casemiro and Maguire and keep both of them at the club on reduced salaries. Now, if United did that with Casemiro, like randomly thinking out loud here, do you think it changes? I don't think it changes that we go after someone like Anderson or Baleba, and I'll speak about Baleba in a sec. But maybe it opens up the possibility of signing like a younger midfielder who will need a year to... I'm going to speak about Boadi only because he's somebody that I definitely do think United should be looking at, the little young midfielder. Maybe you keep Casemiro on as a mentor. Mate, part of me still properly feels that United should not be renewing either of them and reinvesting that money. But it's that intangible that I can't put a value on, is how influential are they inside that dressing room and for Ruben Amorim as role models, as experienced players. And I suppose when you look at United with and without Casemiro this season, you could argue that's an example of that. It is. It's those intangibles that I can't. It's those intangibles that you can't put a wage against, that you can't put a number against. And maybe they're the things that I've underestimated. Both of them would have to take a 50% plus wage cut. I don't know if either of them would. And I still don't know what Casemiro himself will want to do, depending on... Mate, if Casemiro wins the World Cup, surely you'd retire. You think... I mean, of course there's a possibility of Brazil winning the World Cup. It's Brazil. No, you just wouldn't continue. Like, you just leave on a high, wouldn't you? Well, I think I would. I suppose it's easier said than done. Either way, Fabrizio there kind of waffling to the certain point that United do want to keep him. And again at the weekend, at what point, right, question, because quite a few of you who up until this point, it's kind of where my opinion is floating right now. I'm not looking at Baleba's form at Brighton and thinking, oh my God, United can't touch him with a barge pole. Jeez, look, oh my God, it's awful. But kind of at what point does that shift for you? If you're in that sort of camp right now with the Baleba form, because you got taken off at half time again for Brighton, and again, had a bit of a stinker. He gave the penalty away, didn't he? It's a real bad tackle. He's a young lad. We know that. But we're talking about a player that was supposed to be £100 million in the summer. Well, that's what Brighton asked for. Yeah, just at what point does the form go past just form for you, and sort of affect whether you think that would translate across to United? John, you're saying now. Can Cantona saying believe he's reducing his value on purpose? I don't think he's doing that. He's not that cynical. Imagine that. That'd be like a different level of match fixing. You purposefully would know. But he's... Oof. He's having a tough season so far. I could really see United trying to test the waters again in January. I really could. I forgot. No. Shouldn't laugh, Brighton fans. Shouldn't laugh. Yeah, Elliot Anderson, again, was pretty mustard against Liverpool. He's just a very good footballer. I think I've seen it. It's not that I've seen enough, but I'm seeing it week in, week out now. Someone down there saying we can get him for 50 mil at this point. I don't know what the value is anymore. But Brighton certainly are not unhappy with his season so far. Now, I want to tell you one more thing before we wrap up this show. It has been 1 year to the day since Ruben Amorim's first game in charge. The away draw against Ipswich. United scored after 1 minute, 1-0. But look at this, right? This was a starting 11. And if we're being honest, right, how many of those are going to be starting tonight? Guarantees. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say 4 guaranteed. And ideally not, but maybe 5. I don't think we'll see Mazraoui in. I suppose, look, possibly 6. 6 at a max. But I'd say 4 guaranteed. And that's in a space of 1 year. New goalkeeper. Luke Shaw will be playing ahead of Evans. Bruno's, I suppose that technically doesn't count. A big change in attack. But there's only like 4 guaranteed starters for tonight's game against Everton. 1 year on from his first game in charge against Ipswich. It just kind of goes, my point is, it kind of goes to show just how much has changed in this first year. More than I bloody realised. Yeah, I would say no to Delo. But there's a possibility that Delo starts, and I kind of ummed and ahed in my starting 11 prediction, didn't I? I was like, on paper, I always want United to go into like we did it away at Liverpool, like we did away at City, like we did at home to Arsenal. We played Ahmad right wing back and Mbeumo right attacking midfielder because it's more attacking and expressive. Do I think Ahmad will have a tough night tonight against Jack Greed? I think he bloody would. So you could technically play Delo there to be a little bit more secure, but I don't want to do that against Everton at Old Trafford. I want United to start Ahmad on the right-hand side. People asking about the poll. We did the poll on Friday, and I asked about what you thought the result's going to be. So I didn't really think there was too much point in having a repeat. But this was Amorim a year ago. Will he be smiling tonight? Man, I hope so. United have got to do it. I've got to go back to this again. Just take advantage, lads. The next game's Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace away for United is never an easy game. When was the last time we won there comfortably? I couldn't tell you that. All I remember is struggling at Crystal Palace. Not that we lose every single game, but it is not an easy place to go, and you can see what's their form. Their form's not incredible, but their form across the course of the season has been pretty damn good. I suppose they've only lost 1 in 5, so the form is pretty good. Get the job done tonight, lads. Right? John, you saying must avoid conceding set pieces to them? I mean, I'd argue we must not focus, but bloody, we got to get set pieces against them. They conceded, 2, 3 against Spurs? And that's pretty much how Spurs won that game. Set pieces have been a real danger for United this season. We've become significantly more dangerous from attacking them. Unfortunately, we have been equally as vulnerable to defending them. Alex, you're saying, wasn't it when Matic scored a screamer? Mate, we were 2-0 down in that game when Matic scored a screamer. That's why the screamer meant so much. We won 3-2. Zlatan got a late winner under Van Gaal as well. Was it Van Gaal? Was it Mourinho? It was Mourinho. It wasn't Van Gaal. Zlatan didn't play under Van Gaal. We've not had the best of times. Was it Palace last year? Was that when Elise scored? Didn't they spank us like 3-0 last season? I think it was. Was it and then Crystal Palace under Ten Hag was when Casemiro got that yellow card that ruled him out from the Arsenal game? I'm starting to get memories now. It's kind of the point I'm making. Palace won't be easy. There are no easy games. But this here tonight is a game where I expect United. I'm going into this game expecting United to win, expecting United to perform. Was it 4-0? Oh, you kind of get the point. We'll speak about Crystal Palace next. Let's focus on Everton. All right, we haven't lost to them in 7 Premier League games. Yeah, well done, Sam. You jinxed it. I know, my bad. But anyway, let's finish on the most important part. Sometimes it's fun being a kid. The amount of times I did that at school on the whiteboard when you could. So that's the first thing that comes to your head. It's the first thing that comes to your head, all right? My bad. Intrusive thoughts got the best of me there, all right? I'm finishing now. Right, I'll be... Anyway. Right. Lunchtime video, I'm going to do something on academy players. Going to speak about Lacey. Going to speak about Jack Fletcher, also Cheeto, and some other stuff. I'll be here after the game as well. I'm sure that Alex and Maddie and the Discord team will be doing some good stuff in Discord, so make sure you get involved. I hope we've got a big smile on our face tomorrow because we've taken advantage of the opportunity. All right? Take it easy.